in the bottom right-hand side of the map, we do have our red Zerg player from Dark Phoenix Gaming, our current BlizzCon champion. This is Dark. And he is up against the blue Terran in the top left side of the map. Currently teamless, expected to join TSG. It is Splice. It is not Splice, it is TY. There goes my epic intro. You'll have to give me this one. It's just turned 9 a.m. You could even argue if my clock was wrong that it was before 9 a.m. and that's why I'm a little bit wrong. Okay, what's up, guys? Hello, and welcome to TY Dark, our best of 5 series qualifying match for WESG. Both of these players have been WESG finalists before. TY is a WESG champion from 2016. Dark is a WESG runner-up from 2017. Round of 8 in 2018, knocked out by Serral. He is absolutely looking to prove he is the best in the world all over again here this coming year. So really excited to see Dark. Obviously TY has not been around in WSG for a little while. I do have a little update for you guys. Yesterday I was talking a lot about how 3 of these players advanced to the APAC finals. There's been an update. One of the other slots wasn't filled. There was no signups from the qualifier. And so they've actually added an extra slot to Korea. So there are now 4 Korean slots for the APAC finals. Which means that we're going to have quite a few Koreans at WSG this year, more than ever before. So that also means that when these guys one of these guys drops down to the lower bracket, they actually don't have to play too much more. They drop down to the lower bracket, and then they only have one more match, and that's it, they're qualified. So those matches will happen tomorrow, the lower bracket qualifying matches. Today we've got TY versus Dark, and we're going to go to the first round of the lower bracket, which will also be Trap Rogue and Zest Armani. As you do see, just a little block here to stop the third hatchery coming up nice and easily, and a few Zerglings will decide to go across the map. Not really sure what they're going to get up to. I mean, this command center will be long finished. Maybe they'll get an SCV. They can be a little frustrating, right? But that'll be about it as this SCV backs away. The Reaper's even heading back home as well. He's like, okay, I kind of feel like something's happening here. So the Reaper will go back home, and, well, the Lings actually take a detour out over the right side, probably because he saw the Reaper heading back to the top, right? So already these guys are playing at a very high level, where they're not even allowing their opponents to actually make the full moves before they are responding to them. So very exciting so far, as we have got this Reaper heading down, looking to jump up in towards the main base. And there it goes as it heads into the main, and has a little bit of a moment or two to see what's going on, as our Reaper grenade will drop down and pop a drone or two over to behind the mineral lines. Well, we've seen this one before, the Fusion Core. If you were watching yesterday, it was a big play. All day long, pretty much every single Terran player we saw used the Fusion Core opening. It seems like battle cruisers are back, and they're better than ever. Even though not really much actually changed to make them better than ever, they are just working. I don't know what it is, but it's not even the battle cruisers. It just feels as though Zergs are suddenly struggling against Hellions again. It just feels like every single game. I feel like we casted, for example, Maru did this build like 6 games in a row. We casted some other games yesterday in StarCraft 2 in the Team League, and it happened in a bunch of TvZs there. And I just feel like you could actually count on like one hand the amount of times the Zerg successfully defended the Hellions and didn't take damage from the Hellions in the early game. Which you've got to just admit is kind of crazy, right? So I don't know what it is, but Zerg just seem to be derping out against the battle cruisers. What's going to be interesting is I feel like against someone such as Dark, you're probably not going to be able to use the same build multiple times. But then again, if you're going to play mech, isn't just the battle cruiser opening one of the best ways to open? Because it does open you up into having those BCs in the mid game, and it does give you a very smooth transition in towards 3 factories, 3rd CC, etc. So if TY truly just wants to play mech in this entire series, could absolutely be the case. Oh, she plays bio! Whoa! I'm just saying mech, and I didn't look at the 2 barracks in the production tab yet on the stim pack just starting. That's actually okay. So this is something we have not seen from the battle cruiser openings, the single battle cruiser into bio. Now this is generally considered weaker because you only have the 1 BC, but it's not usually the 1 BC that ends up dealing damage. It's usually the continuation of multiple command centers and being able to, with multiple command centers, multiple battle cruisers, you actually get yourself into this position where you're able to really keep up the harassment and really, really stay aggressive in the game. So that's crazy. I mean, as this first BC shows up against these queens, we'll drop a transfuse on the hatchery. That was a misclick initially, so it did miss the queen there. Eventually got it going, and I think you can see this. Initial battle cruiser is not going to do too much, right? It's going to not even kill an overlord, and it's already being pushed away. And usually you're like, well, fine, because battle cruiser number 2 is on the way up. Then I'm going to have Yamato cannons, and then Yamato cannons are going to guarantee me certain amounts of damage here. Well, now we see the scan dropping down, and a couple of creep tumors cleaned out as TY getting to work. And you will pick off a few creep tumors there, and now the Hellions back up through the center. This BC coming back in, it's going to be able to grab another overlord. Just again, more creep tumors being denied here. So creep tumors going down, and TY is going to take the opportunity to turn back up the left side of the map, and just get on out of there for the moment. That's exactly what TY is going to do. He's going to get on out of there. Meanwhile, we do have these Hellions actually pushing forward, so they're going to be able to grab themselves a couple of creep tumors as well. Obviously, if you can get this one, it's nice. Missing the Reaper. 6 Hellions and a Reaper do have that kind of one-shot potential on creep tumors, so missing that just means it takes a little longer, but here it doesn't really matter. He's still able to get all of those creep tumors in the scan radius, and that's obviously awesome as he gets one more creep tumor here, just trying to slow it down as much as possible. Well, as Dark knows, its bio, his play is just going to look very standard. Lingbane Muta is what he's set up to do. He's got his upgrade starting. TY is actually only on 1 attack upgrade, and also, by the way, TY no 3rd CC, so 4th and 5th barracks, he's going to play extremely aggressively here. He's not going to expand, and the 1 engineering bay is really kind of the giveaway for me as well. You know, no 3rd CC, maybe you're like, well, aggressive into like a late 3rd, but the 1 engineering bay makes it so it's actually just going to be attack, 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 and never let up. Because realistically, this, what are you going to do if you're going to have a late 3rd CC, your upgrades are going to be delayed? Nah, you absolutely have to go for this. The armory right now, I think, is actually just to get the Hellions to morph into Hellbats, rather than to let the, +2 attack upgrade start. If anything, you'll start +1 armor here, I think. +2 attack just is going to take a little bit too long. And that kind of the length of that upgrade obviously doesn't really help you out when you're trying to make an aggressive attack happen in a certain amount of time. Good first scan here, cleans up a lot of the creep, although the Hellions are in trouble and they've not had a chance to morph into Hellbats yet, as that armory is actually denied from finishing. It is just about to finish though. BC trying to defend against the Mutalists as TY will slow push forwards, but man, Dark, he killed 13 SCVs already. And as +1 attack is done for TY, this is maybe his best moment, as he has a slight upgrade lead he can put to use, and he is putting it to use, but those Marines are already heavily stimmed. And that big stim, I mean, the medevacs are draining all of their energy so quickly here. Muta's back in the main, TY still trying to handle that as reinforcements being cut off by Zerglings across the map as well. And as Marines stem backwards, the few reinforcements that do arrive, they're going to make it here, and to be fair, it looks scary for a moment, but then you realize how many Banelings Dark still has. Dark's about to hit 1-1 upgrades. Now these Banes might just go for this. The tank fire is pretty good on the Banelings. In fact, that was maybe a mistake by Dark staying so clumped up. And TY smells perhaps a bit of blood in the water because he's just going to dive straight up to the natural. He's going to get the Baneling there, so that's huge for continuation of this attack. The siege tanks have gone down the back. He splits up against the Banelings, but I think maybe too many Zerglings. These Marines are just too split up. And now he'll lift up and go back across. I mean, this set of Mutalisks is still causing so much damage over here. Just throughout the entirety of this, these Mutas have just been dealing out damage. And the problem is, if TY had maybe had enough Marines to keep this going and reinforcements comfortably coming across the map, this might have worked out for him, but unfortunately, he has to lift up, and now there's just too many Zerglings. And he did get that Baneling Nest kill, which is kind of one of the things which probably would have put him into a really good spot here as well if he couldn't keep morphing Banelings against it, but I think TY just lost a little bit too much already, and he's really trying to make it work, lifting up into the main, going from the base to base, making the Zerglings run around a little bit, but I mean, look how low these Marines are. They're super low HP. The medevacs are dead out of energy. They have nothing left on them. And now the BC goes down, the medevacs are being chased, and TY will type out GG to give Dark game number 1 of this best of 5. We haven't really seen a lot of aggressive 2-base attacks against Zerg. We definitely haven't seen a lot of aggressive 2-base bio attacks off a single battlecruiser for a long time. In this game, TY is going to open with the proxy racks. On the top right-hand side, our blue Terran player. It is TY. Taking on the red Zerg in the lower left-hand side from Dark Phoenix Gaming. Dark. First two SCVs are already heading down to the bottom side of the map here, getting ready to drop a couple of barracks. T-Rex will get set up here. Now, Dark's initial overlords are not going in a direction to scout this. So, on the plus side for TY, he will be able to obviously get a few Marines up. He will be able to get this going. But look at Dark's build.
Game paused.
As we do see a gas pool opening. So they have a little bit of lag that's going to be worked on here. Man, gas pool opening. What a way to just hard counter a proxy Rex. It doesn't really get much better than that. Now, you know, a 2-Rex can still work to some extent against a gas pool opener, but it's got much less chance of success. You really need the Zerg to mess up more than you would need the Zerg to mess up originally, right? So it's a little bit tough for TY. One of the biggest issues with the, gas pool opening for the Terran player is just dealing with the counter-attack. Obviously, any sort of roach counter will come so much faster. But even just the link speed can be a difficulty to deal with as well. Dark will drop down this hatchery. Now, the one benefit that TY has is that Dark obviously has no idea that this is happening, at least. So let's see what he does. So you have the first Marine Star, and he's going to actually keep the first SCV back a little bit over to the right side. And this next barracks finishing up as well in a moment. What's up, Rotty, with the raid, by the way? What on earth are you doing awake? Streaming at 10 AM. Thank you so much for the raid, and welcome everyone from the Roddy stream. You just tuned in to game number 2 of Dark vs TY, a qualifying match for the WESG South Korea qualifiers. This is a series which, as a qualifying match, it qualifies you into the WESG APAC regional finals, which for the Korean players, they're absolutely the dead favorites going into it. So it's often considered that if you get into there, you're a heavy favorite, because you only have to make top 8 in the APAC regional finals to get to the global finals. So you qualify into this, you're almost on your way to the global finals already. We're going to have more Koreans than ever before. It's pretty much guaranteed that Innovation is invited to the global finals, and we're going to have 4 Koreans advancing out of this qualifier, which is really exciting, because people always complain about the lack of Koreans at WSG. They even just added an extra spot for Korean players yesterday. Really awesome. Well, this actually might work out, as we see Dark is in some trouble. He's starting to lose the hatchery. Marines getting into the bunkers, and this hatch starting to go down. A couple of lings across the map. The thing is, while, obviously Pool First is meant to be good against this, you still kind of need to know what's happening. These bunkers came up uncontested, and because of that, TY is just going to have this little corner where he's just going to be able to, straight up take down the hatch. And there you go. Now, Baneling that's setting up. So the idea here from Dark is to go on Baneling bust. Now, there's a factory done. What does this factory build? It's going to go reactor, so it's going to be a little while longer until he gets the Hellions up and running. He really needs to get that up ASAP, as we do see some Marines are going to jump around. Where are the other Marines? There's a couple Marines already heading back home. Actually, one of them goes down here. More Lings coming across the map. It is going to be kind of risky. We're not going to have Hellions immediately, so this is going to get a little bit interesting. And Spinecrawl able to get rid of one of the bunkers. There's our first Bane's morphing in. There's the 6 you need. Okay, TY is going to see it. That's so important for TY to scout. He has the minerals right now where he might just be able to build up a secondary wall. Yeah, it's just the absolute go-to, right? Because if you've got a secondary wall, you're never getting in as Dark. TY's about to have the minerals where he's either going to build Hellions and maybe a CC. But yeah, secondary wall, and it doesn't even matter. He's got a bunker up too, he's got Marines, and this is pretty much all in, right? I mean, he killed 2 depots, yeah, he supply blocked the Terran, sure, but you know what? Good hold from TY. Cancels, and now he's got a bunker and a Hellion. Like, it doesn't even matter if you bust through a second time. If you kind of, what are you going to do? Like, are you really going to commit to more Banelings? Great cancel as well by TY. Great read on the situation. Now, 1 Marine scout in the Banes. A bit of a giveaway and just made this so much easier. I think he's okay anyways, right? Because he's in a situation where he has the bunker up. So even if you kind of get in here with the Lings, pull the SCVs to the bunker, and it's probably kind of alright. It can get a little bit scary though, but I think as a couple of Hellions pop up, it's just when the Lings reinforce, right? Then it becomes a bit more of an issue. then it gets a bit more of an issue. So, as you do see these couple of links pushing up this ramp, we do see Marines able to pick that off, so that's nicely done. And we do see the barracks from TY pushed away to the top side as well. So far, so good. You do have the hatchery trying to come up from Dark. And as TY, I mean, you think about it, all things considered, TY's expansion is going to come about at the same time as Dark's. I'm not going to try and say TY's in a great spot here, but obviously he was forced into a later CC because he built the energy base, etc. These allies have to be real careful. You need to kind of keep those safe against these Zerglings. Marine's going to go for an Overlord kill, and they'll get it. Obviously losing an Overlord at this kind of time into the game is very painful, especially consider everything that's happened. As these Hellions are doing what they need to do to kind of stay safe against the Lings. Getting a little bit surrounded, but there's not enough Zerglings to really make a difference. So all the Lings go down now. TY is going to lift up the healthy Hellions and take them in a medevac. Wouldn't even mind these Hellions popping into the main, getting repaired, and then going across the map. One of the benefits of a proxy reactor boom, consistent scouting, just moving through the main base for the entire time here. And this couple of Queens able to put out some damage on towards this Rax. Rax really is taking some hits right now, so Barrack's taking a lot of damage, is going to go down. And now we have the Liberator from TY on the way up as well, over in that main base. So Liberator on the way out, there's a couple of extra Queens on the way, 9 drones we're currently building. A lot of setup here as these Hellions run into this, and a couple of drones will go down. Zergling's being chased a little bit as well, as our medevac will lift up, and these units will escape up to the top side here. As more Hellions unload, our Queen from Dark is going to be pressing forwards. Yeah, I mean, it's just good pressure from TY, and he's kind of keeping Dark within, like, you know, a very good reach of workers. Only a 4 worker advantage for Dark. And there's the fusion core coming up. So this time TY will go in towards a battle cruiser once again. He's already mining down on the natural. I would just like to see a 3rd CC. I'm not understanding why he's not walling off here. Yeah. Well, okay. Now he's just going to build the 3rd CC out in position. So he's just very confident here, TY, that he's not in any trouble. That's a nice snipe on a creep tumor, and that'll be another, and maybe even one more. Oh, he's going to take one more volley, but he actually decides to go for a drone. He makes the dive in at the end, so he's going to get a couple of drones here. Not bad at all. See how that shot? He does. Wow, so he actually gets quite a few drone kills. At the same time, Liberator in the main base picks up a few kills too, so really having a good time. Keeping drones from mining, and really, this is the issue for Dark now. Just too much damage being done. Oh my god, he evacuates these Hellions with the medevac as well. Well, no wonder he's confident to build the 3rd CC in position. He is in an amazing spot when it comes to kind of keeping Dark at home. Just all of the aggression, and the battle cruiser is about to pop up. This time we do see an armory, and we will be seeing, I think, 2 more factories to go in towards a more kind of mech-based play. There's the Yamato cannon, which means that we're going to be seeing, obviously, some extra battle cruisers as well. So this pretty much 9 times out of 10 means mech. Not even 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10. A bio switch from here would be like fantasy levels of build order. You know, some mech into bios kind of style. As we do see Spire on the way down on this natural. So Dark kind of making the decision to go into a Spire for a 2nd game in a row. The problem is I don't think the Spire comes up really in time to help with much at all. I mean, eventually you're going to have the Spire to get corrupted to deal with the BCs, and that's obviously kind of the point. But, I mean, considering it's an 8-minute BC, yeah, what do you have to deal with? There's 2 Queens in the main base, right? And, you know, a couple of Queens elsewhere, but they have to try and help defend against these Hellbats. Well, at least there's a Spine Crawler to try and help out with that. That Spine Crawler familiar in the game coming into play. You can just see it already, right? 8 drones have been killed here, and it's just going to be, you know, adding up to be a little bit too much over time. And, you know, it's just still continued damage from TY. And as more BCs come out, as more Hellions get made, factories come online, this isn't getting any better. Now these Hellions actually just moved into Hellion mode, and there's no actual unit defense here. So we're up to a 20 kill count in the worker kill tab, and that's going to keep on increasing. How many workers has TY actually killed this game overall? 33. 34 now as this BC just flies out up the left-hand side. Obviously, it can start going home to get repaired, and then it can come back with its battlecruiser number 2, buddy. Yeah, that Spire, you know, it comes up, but what can you actually afford off of the Spire, I guess is the better question. And the answer to that is pretty much nothing at all. Like, really, pretty much nothing at all. You just can't. He's got the gas, but he doesn't even have the minerals. He's been droning back up, recovering from them worker losses. And, you know, this is the typical Twitch chat moment where Twitch chat's like, oh my god, he kills 35 workers and Dark's still ahead in drones. But, obviously, what's happening is that while Dark is just constantly building drones, he can't build army. So, that damage from TY still has a massive effect, and I feel like the only reason TY is not further ahead in supply is because he just didn't, you know, his factories have only just come online. I mean, we're talking about a third CC that built in position, never even had to wall off the natural, because he's just going to go walling off the third location. Like, it's just every advantage you could want for TY here. This is a very difficult game for Dark, and you can see his plan now. Instead of going in towards any sort of use of the Spire, Infestation Pit. So dropping the Infestation Pit down is just looking to just go teching up, rather than kind of sitting back and, you know, trying to play a more regular game. He's just got to do something a bit crazy, and he's just, you know, he's going to try. So he's going to start skipping parts of the game, so he's going to skip the Corruptors. Looks like he's just going to go for Swarm Hosts and the Nidus Network. Hellions both into Hellbats, and that will be a hatchery picked off instantly. 12 more Swarm Hosts in production on that natural expansion, and the Hellions move their way across down the left-hand side. They'll find themselves a couple of Creep Tumors here. So a couple of Creep Tumors going down for the moment. As the Hellions do escape out over the right-hand side, so 12 more Swarm Hosts on the way up as we do see the first Nidus dropping into play. BC teleport back into the main, and it's going to be a Yamato cannon to already fire onto one of the Queens, and again, I mean, even the BCs, there's barely like a response to those. We do see a few Corruptors now finally on the way up. Actually going to see one BC just getting out. I mean, it was getting very low. And come the Locusts arriving into the third base here of TY. We will have to evacuate for a moment or two. TY has already got Blue Flame, so in general should have a decent answer to these Locusts. Already loses one tank, however. We'll have to pull away from the rest of that. Dark's putting up a fight. You know, he's slowly kind of getting towards a setup here that's kind of working. And TY is going to move forwards to a fourth base. That's obviously an issue for Dark, lacking a fourth base still. Hellions move their way over here. Halbat it up, and that's a Nidus they can deny. I like this, already scouting around for potential Nidus in this direction, because that's the obvious next location, right? You know, drop a Nidus up here, boom. Locust into the main base, hit the production lines. It's going to drop it a bit further forwards, as we'll see Corruptor's Caustic Spray, and it's a fast lift, and it's a fast pull away. He'll get out of range of the Caustic Spray, which means Corruptors can then auto-attack, but the DPS of the auto-attack is much lower, so it gives you a lot more time to respond to this and save it, as the CC is kind of just burning down. TY, well, I feel like one in TY, I don't know why he didn't repair this here. There's absolutely no reason those SCVs couldn't have pulled forwards. Yeah, I feel like TY just gave up one of his big advantages. The fact he was getting to a fourth base was one of the reasons I really like this position in the game still, right? Because, you know, Dark was without one, TY was getting one. Now, TY just lost that. Now he has to cancel a fourth base again. Okay, now he's actually decided to build a fourth base out in position down the right side of the map. I just can't understand why he didn't repair this command center. The SCVs were right there. He must have known it was under attack. I feel like he must have known it was savable because he lifted it and moved it away. Backfield Accelerator coming online as we'll get some Cyclones to take some map control. His BC's moving forwards. Now the Corruptor count is still relatively low because he built these much later in the game. He hasn't been building them up as his kind of initial tech choice to shut down the BCs from the start, which again was a decision he made to get the Swarm Host out faster to maybe start dealing some damage. It did work. You know, because he didn't really take too much more damage from BCs until the Corruptors came out. But now these, you know, battle cruisers, well, they get out of corrosive battle range, they drop the Armados, and boom, instantly start teleporting, and there's just too many of them, so the Corruptor's in some trouble there. Yeah, very nicely done by TY. He knows kind of where he's at. This is going to be a shutdown Nidus Worm over here. And on this bottom side, he's already got units as well, so shut down this Nidus Worm too. So really doing a good job of this. Is there the teleport away goes. He nearly got the hatchery. Might just be worth running in with a couple of Cyclones just to get the lock on. It's not going to take much to kill that hatchery off, so TY, he's going to get in, he's going to lock on, and that should be all he needs as Cyclones. We'll also get a few lock-ons to Roaches, so able to push those away for a moment or two. A couple more Creep Tumors going down as again the Cyclones gonna get a lock-on again, and the Corruptors again push back over to the left. This Swarm Horse popping out in the bottom right-hand side again. Locust's gonna jump up and move in towards Our base over here, SCVs and mules. Perhaps in some trouble. I mean, there's no defense here. This orbital command will not finish morphing, it will just lift up. TY now has another command center back out in that initial position he tried to expand to. Doc's really dragged this out to a macro game, I gotta say. I really liked the game for TY. I felt like he was in an amazing position, and now here we are, 15 minutes in, and it feels like Doc is kind of controlling the pacing of the game. TY is almost struggling to shut him down. Hive is finally on the way up, and Doc's still playing with some deficits, and that later Hive is absolutely one of those. Oh, he is picking off a couple more Zerglings. Now out into the center of the map. These BCs moving around, they're going to find the Nidus up on the top side as well, so that's going to be a nice little catch. Again, just got to keep on shutting down those Nidus, give the Swarm Hosts as few opportunities as possible to truly get up on the map and get into nice aggressive positions. Finds this Nidus just up here, and that's right on time to stop the Swarm Hosts coming out as well, so it's actually been a little while since we saw a Swarm Host Locust Wave doing too much, so TY definitely kind of stabilizing a little bit against something that was problematic for him earlier in the game. You see the Yamatos lining up again on the Corruptors, and TY is not even going to waste them money kind of repairing these BCs. He just teleports them straight out after picking up the Corruptor kills, so that's a nice find. Picking up another round of Corruptors, and look at this play from Doc, a Lurker Den here, 16 minutes in. We've seen more Lurkers in ZVT lately, because of the new patch, because of the new range upgrade potential. But we haven't really seen like a late game Lurker transition when you've not been already kind of playing like a Hydra style. Usually people just decide to play Lurkers into the mid game, and then it's like, well, I've already got my, then you're already kind of built up into it. But this is kind of like a Lurker switch. Very interesting to see the SCVs are going to try and pull in for a repair on the battle cruisers, and he does lose one of them, but obviously the corrupt account doing so hard. Loses this base again. TY looks like he'll just instantly start to rebuild it out in location. And he's going to try and chase those Corruptors down. The Cyclones, if they get their lock-ons, those Corruptors are armored, they melt to the extra damage from the Magfield Accelerator. Little Nidus down the bottom right. Ling's able to come in, grabbing a Cyclone. And those Lings now darting on up in towards the third base mineral line. So they're going to try and get a few SCV kills over here as well. As these Cyclones actually just not quite in range to protect those SCVs. And we will get a whole bunch of these Zerglings. On the left side, the battle cruiser is still pressing on forwards. This is one of them. Teleport's available, just didn't line them up in time. It's going to be another Yamato. Now he's going to teleport out of there. Maybe he could have stuck around to pick off a couple of those lower health Corruptors, right? But at the end of the day, it's well, it's nice just not have to repair the BCs so much. Locust is going to go into this base. There's units nearby, so should be a pretty easy defense. He's actually going to go diving towards the Nidus rather than fighting the Locust. He just pulls everything away from the base. I guess it's one of the benefits of having an orbital instead of a planetary. Just lift and leave. 3 battle cruisers at a time. So TY is really investing into this air army. He's really making sure that battle cruisers are the majority of what he has later into this game. And that maybe is where Doc doesn't have an answer, because as you look at the game develop, yeah, sure, Doc's still got Corruptors. He's starting adding a couple Vipers. But where are the Infestors, right? I know, Infestors maybe not the greatest now they don't have Infested Terrans, but also they could get Neural Parasite up still. And Neural Parasites against higher battlecruiser counts are absolutely one of the ways to kind of shut that down and to make it work. Unless Doc really just feels it's not enough to be, justify investing into them. The Swarm Hosts are out on another side of the map again. We see a bunch of Cyclones here, again some of the lock-ons. Obviously just starting to trade out with these Roaches. Vipers maybe looking for Yoinker too, obviously when Yoink the Cyclones in, that's pretty much guaranteed kills. Uses the lock-ons because of high ground vision as he moves down the ramp. Nick on the beast, he's making their way into that top side base. Doc got up to a 4th base, but he's never really getting out towards a 5th because of the denials from TY. He doesn't really have creep spread, and he's had to lose his 4th as well. These BCs just able to pick that kill up. Lines up the Yamatos, a couple of Yoinks will cancel the Yamatos, and he will teleport them all away anyways, though. Gets a base, and obviously Doc is going to be struggling to keep in the game in terms of money. It did feel like for a little while TY was struggling to kind of survive. He was struggling to kind of stay in the game. He wasn't really able to keep everything going his way. But overall, he has been the player that's been able to deny bases. He's been the player to be able to expand more comfortably. And, Doc kind of got to 4th bases without... he kind of, got to 4th base with better trouble, but he denied the 4th base at TY. It's the 5th base. It was the same scenario all over again, but he's not denied the 5th base like he denied the 4th base at TY. So, it's just going to become that little bit tougher as these Swarmers will pop Locusts over here, straight into this mineral line, and we'll send them off and away. SCV's starting to run. Swarmers actually just going to split up and burrow, so making it really difficult for TY to find them. That's actually really cute, right? You scan here to try and pick them off, and you'll find one of them in range. This other one relocates, and yeah, that's so frustrating. Just Swarmers burrowed all over the place. Well, the battlecruisers are back, and I still don't really think there's much to do about it, as you see. I mean, initially Yamato Cannon's going to line on up all over the place, and Crypt is getting blown up here. There's a few Hydras on the ground, of course, because you see Dark was ready to switch into those lurkers, right? But we never get to see them come up, and Dark will type GG. He just doesn't have a way to continue fighting those battles in the game. Here we go into game number 3. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player from DPG, it is Dark, taking on the red Terran player in the top left, TY. So game 3 of the series, and we will see Dark opening gas pooler games, the same as the last game. He knows these Terran players, they have a tendency to say, my 2 racks worked, I'll just 2 racks again. You know, Terran players love to do that. It's a little bit cheeky, it's a little bit naughty, but you can understand it, right? Like, sometimes you're playing someone like Dark, it's like, well, proxying my rack seems like the better idea. Well, Hatchery dropping down on the natural as we do see the Overlord moving its way up towards the upper left, and the Queen from Dark just hanging around here in the main base on its way up. So yeah, pull first, we'll see what he can get done with it. The SCV scout from TY is so important in this scenario because it just tells you what to do with the Reaper. You know it's a pull first, boom, already you just know, right, well, I'm going to keep my Reaper at home, or even with the SCV, you might see how many lings there are, which can tell you how aggressive Dark has been, and then you can kind of decide if you need the Reaper at home as well. You see 2 lings here. Yeah, again, I mean, 2 lings you don't really need to be too worried about, right? If there were 6 lings, maybe so. Just shows that Dark doesn't really want to be aggressive as much as Dark wants to actually just be very safe against a proxy racks play. Although I say that, he didn't send his overlords in directions to scout proxy racks, he just sent them straight out to the left side, upper left side, so maybe not as afraid as I'm making him out to be. Command Center is going to drop on in here from TY on the natural, so obviously that's just a typical Reaper expand already. That second gas, so we're still not going to be seeing any of that fast 3cc play, as we do have the starport coming into play. And I guess we should start to ask ourselves, are we going to be seeing battle cruisers here yet again? Kind of feels like that may be the scenario, right? Kind of feels like that may be the go-to as our tech lab starts to build in the barracks, and as Zergling speed starting up from Dark over in the main base. Again, that Ling speed up and running. Hanging around, and just going to be seeing this Reaper is coming back home a little bit, but a couple of Hellions. Lings will not be any problem at all. I think the Reaper just obviously with Ling speed out. Usually it's kind of when you want to kind of join that Reaper up with the Hellions. So you actually send the Reaper back down to the bottom right-hand side, so those couple of Zerglings will continue to give chase. Oh, it's going to be a Cloaked Banshee opening this time around. It's going to be a Cloaked Banshee this time around. How very interesting as we do see this Reaper is going to get picked off. So Reaper will go down. And there is that Banshee building, the Cloak starting. And our lad from Dark on the way up in the main base. These Zerglings are going to be able to get rid of these rocks. So the rocks will drop down here. A couple of Hellions from TY able to pick their way through the hatchery. So quite a lot of damage being done. Well, Creep Spread still pushing out onto the map. So Creep pushing out onto the map. There's a Rotoron dropping down in the front. And yeah, just building up here from Dark. Getting set to play against Mech. Kind of like the Banshee opening. It changes it up a little bit, right? It's been a little while since we've seen Banshees. I mean, I think Dark sees the 1-1-1 and just sort of assumes a battlecruiser is probably on the way. Doesn't even send this Overlord into scout or anything. So you're not even reconfirming what's happening. This first Banshee, if it cloaks up before it hits the base, that'd be perfect, because there's an Overlord here. There is one Spore Crawler on the way in the main base, but that's the only Spore Crawler. So there's going to be no detection in the natural expansion as Banshee arrives. It's going to cloak up, and yeah, you got some free pickings for a little while here. Overseer's on the way, but again, Lair only just now finished, so there's a few moments where this Banshee can just get in and deal good early game damage. 4 workers down. Doesn't quite make it 5. Yeah, not a bad start at all, as 4 workers do drop here. And this Banshee now going to move down to the bottom. The Hellions escape now to the left-hand side as well. And TY is going to keep... I love it when they keep the Banshee alive, because it means you can get it home, repair it, and boom, it comes back into play later on. It's the same idea with the battle cruisers. You know, you can get, keep them alive, and they're going to be useful all game long. But obviously, it's a little bit harder to do with Banshees. They're a little bit more fragile. So it does keep this one alive. And brings it back home, now uses this Banshee for high ground vision. We're going to see it's a bio follow-ups. 2 more barracks on the way, and, well, this is something Doc doesn't know about. Again, he hasn't had any real scouting info. He's going to try and morph in this Overseer, which will probably work, actually, to be able to finish up and then get into the main. Second Marine shows up. It was real close, but it's not enough, and obviously we'll get that Overlord out there. But he doesn't go to the main base, so he still doesn't actually scout this. Currently just building up into Roach speed, and obviously looking like he'll build up into Roaches here in general. 2 Banshees together, repaired up. They're going to head out to try and find some damage. I mean, 2 Banshees together when they one-shot that MSCV, them drones, sorry. You just have that potential, right, to really deal more damage. You're going to be able to get out on the map, you're going to be able to dive a mineral, because you can just get in, boom, 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 3 workers, get out as the Queens start to dish out some damage. So, makes those Banshees very scary, and that's one of the importances of keeping the first Banshee alive. Makes the 2 Banshee combo that much more scary. Here we go, boom, boom. How did that first drone not die, by the way? The Banshee shot didn't go off. So there you go, 4 workers go down, sneaks into the natural, gets 2 more, 6 workers killed. A little bit of a ling run by, but there's Marines around, a couple of tanks, and this shouldn't be an issue. He's got Stim as well. A little bit annoying because obviously there's a few units that were just kind of moving forwards and lost a couple of those, but in general, TY with the good defense, and Doc does not find an opening, just losing more Zerglings. And look at the upgrades. This is a massive 1-1 upgrade lead coming into play from TY. Combat Shield starting up as well. Still retaining a lot of his units. In fact, all he's lost is those 3 Marines, the early Reaper and 1 SCV. Yeah, he hasn't killed like a monstrous amount of units, 10 drones, but 10 drones and 10 Zerglings definitely does add up. Combat Shield's about halfway done. As you see, our Medevac's loading these Marines, and across the map they'll go now. As our Tunnel Claws setting up, our Burrow upgrade getting ready to go, and our Roaches, Ravagers picking their way through these rocks. Banshee picks off a Creep Tumor, and up on the top side we do see the Zerglings. They are going to be pushing their way around as well. Wanting to run in towards that natural. Medevac still boosting toward the main base. He's going to take a bit of a turn, just go down this 4th, and once a free drone pick off, it's an Overlord. Against Dark, you've just got to settle for what you can get, and sometimes that is just a couple of drones and an Overlord. You're going to now try and go into the main, boom, you see the Queens, and you're out of there, right? You're not going to commit to it. Yeah, TY, he's got the armor. He would love to see 2-2 because the upgrades was one thing he had really going in his favor. We'd love to just see that continue. As we see Bane Nest and an Infestation Pit from Dark, so he's going to double down on kind of what he's doing. I feel like he didn't really know it was bio. Nah, he must have known it was bio, right? He saw it was Stim with the Zerglings, but it feels like he's been quite comfortable just building Roach Ravager. Eventually, you need Balins to deal with kind of higher bio counts. It's something we see more and more. These burrowed roaches already being found, so TY, he actually already had a turret at the front, so he's already prepared for the possibility of burrowed roaches. It's a very good preparation from TY. Doc didn't even get across the map. TY spots it early and is able to shut down the first attempt. +2 attack upgrade. He's on the way on the engineering bay. Would love to see the armor upgrade too. Just again, felt like that was one of the big advantages for TUI, and he's really let that upgrade advantage slip away a little bit. So he'll still have a little bit of one because once you hit +1 missiles, you do have that +1 melee switch happen. You switch into melee because typically from here you usually go into ultras in the late game at some point. So you want the melee upgrades. Obviously helps the Banes as well when doing battling and Bane into composition. He's actually going Hive and Spire already, so may just try and go straight to Broodlords rather than going via Ultras, which should give TY quite a powerful 2-2 time window. However, again 2-2 was a little bit late here, and maybe it's not as powerful as it should be. Let's see, 2-2's on the way. I mean, maybe if he goes with +2 attack, that's a Contaminate to slow down +2 armor as well. And that's going to really... So basically, if TY wants to hit a +2 window, it's going to be +2 attack and not the armor. I'm talking about delayed upgrades. Dark didn't start his +2 carapace either, so both of these players just apparently hate their armor upgrades. He needs armor. A good offense is a strong defense, is their, motto. If I can just kill everything fast enough, I don't even need to defend. Here we go. Tank's gonna get close with Val because they're all clumped up, and I mean, Dark just jumps on this army. The Bane speed just finished up towards the end of this fight, and Dark jumps on this, and that goes all of the siege tanks basically. But a drop on the bottom side will deny the 5th base, so TY is getting some damage done somewhere at least. Banshee in the center is picked off as the Queen's able to get that pick off, and while TY is in trouble again, we'll probably just have to lift up. This tank is abandoned. Good target fire on the Banelings to just clean out as many of those as possible. TY has to pull back. So TY, now you just don't hit before 2-2 in any sort of strong fashion. Dark comes out, meets that dead center on the map, and yeah, you just really don't do much at all here. So TY, at least he denied the 5th base. He got something out of all of this. The fight in the center meant there was no units to defend down on the bottom side. And this medevac now pulling back through the bottom of the map. It's going to unload a few of these Marines, and you'll see the Zerglings already starting to run in to force that medevac to lift up back away. As here we go, Ling's coming in again. TY's in the central position once more. The tanks, well, actually tanking a lot of damage. Getting a few volleys off here. TY's maintaining good supply during these fights, so it's not like these fights are, while it looks like TY's getting swept under the rug, he's actually reproducing quite nicely. He's got a look at all the reinforcements he has that just weren't even part of that fight. So he's still looking alright. He denies this base again. Just the longer you keep the Zerg off this 5th base, the tougher it's going to be for Dark to realistically get back into, get up into, a continued kind of strong army. TY's pressure right now might just be what is keeping Dark off of the Broodlords as well. But there it goes. Now the 7 Broodlords start up. Very good control over here. Great target firing of the Banelings, and that means that all of a sudden TY is pressing forwards and, dealing even more damage to these Zerglings. So, yeah, TY's micro just given even more opportunities for him in this game. I love this as well. Take the chance to just go clean up some of this creep spread, open up this map a little bit later on, perhaps. TY shuts down a counterattack onto his building 5th base. You gotta give it to him. When it comes to expanding, TY is almost like a Zerg. It's almost non-stop as this medevac pulls back. A drop in the main is shut down by Queens. Marines will just take a run around. They'll see the Great Aspire. I think he knows that this is an inevitability at this point, as we see the Ghost Academy coming on into play. TY and Dark, I feel, are some of the best players in the world to watch this late game TvZ with, so really excited to see it actually maybe start getting to this stage now. TY maybe feels a little bit cornered down here. He's going to evacuate some tanks and give up some of the bio. Well, that or he's going to take the tanks with him on the drop. But yeah, TY and Dark, they've had so many epic games in the past, all over the place. And again, once it gets to late game between these two, they're both just so good at it. TY is a late game master. Dark is, very good all-around player. This is crazy though, because suddenly TY's found some openings. We're talking about 16 workers picked off, and maybe even a 4th hatchery. Transfusions are being spammed, and it's not enough. 17 drones and a hatchery going down. And TY's aggression is still playing out here. The Brutes in the middle of the map not doing much. As this attack comes down here, 5th base might go down. So that would be 5th base and 4th base. And he's not going to get this one. His medevacs actually save the siege tanks and nothing more. As they go boosting along, probably just unload them. I mean, do you unload them into the spines? I think he just had to, right? He's going to try and unload them in the main base, but both of them denied. Well, if he unloaded them here, he maybe could have target fired down a couple of drones. But at the end of the day, wasn't going to make a big difference. Those units were kind of forfeit anyways. As you will see, this command center, there wasn't even anything underneath it in TY scanned. He was just so ready for Dark to have a Zergling burrowed there. What is that for kind of like awareness of the game? He knows Dark has burrow. He knows Dark's really good. So you just expect that burrowed link to be in position. A little bit of a mistake from Dark. TY's kept him busy enough that wasn't in place, as we do see the Vikings on the way over, and already hitting a Broodlord here. Trainers do have transfusions for these. A lot of them trying to save the previous hatchery, remember. Thor's trying to help out a little bit as well. As TY brings a couple of Vikings into this. He's got more Thors on the way out. That's obviously kind of his somewhat counter to the Broodlords. You see those Corruptors don't really have much to fight, so the Corruptors are kind of dead weight now. The Medevacs are gone. These Brutes still trying to drop some Broodlings to chase this army away, and it looks like TY will hold this off. The introduction of the Thors really does help against the Brewers, that kind of big damage output on Broodlords. They have that reach to get in range of them as well. And Corruptors are going to make themselves useful and go hunting for a planetary fortress. You need to repair this ASAP so that it just, buy as much time as possible. As the Marines show up, the Corruptors will get out. He doesn't want to lose any of these. Needs to keep them moving a little bit further. Job well done. Thor's on the way. We don't see the Ultra Cavern will be put down here as Dark probably realizes, well, maybe I need to set up something that kind of has a bit more buffer and a bit more kind of power on the ground. And that doesn't really exist for Dark right now. His ground army is, you know, Ravages this late in the game is kind of just like, well, really, what are you going to do? You know, you're going to get cleaned up very quickly. And TY's army isn't like super late game or anything, right? It's, you know, a few Thors mixed in. But we're not really talking about having, you know, he got a Ghost Academy, but there's no Ghost. There's no Liberators at all. One thing that Corruptors really have done fantastically here is keep this medevac count super low, killing those off time and time again. For the first time, TY doesn't really have the confidence to go out dropping around the map. He doesn't really have the kind of ability to go and kind of put on any further pressure. And Dark has got these bases up now, so now he's pretty comfortably up on 6 bases. Good creep spread in the center. And as TY's kind of lost the momentum that he had, and to, you know, to keep Dark busy, I feel like now is probably the opportunity where you kind of just say as TY, okay, you know what? It's time for me to try and just tech up into that late game, get the Liberators, get the Ghosts out, and just play this much later on, as you see. The medevac drop got down there. It got a bit of damage done, a few drones killed, but again, good cleanup from my dog. It's when it's, if there's only one drop happening at a time, yeah, you might get there and Dog doesn't realize it's getting there, but Dog's going to be right on top of it straight away afterwards, right? And you know, if there's not a second drop to keep him busy, if there's not a move out to keep him busy, it's a nice play by Dog. Just comes straight up to the top side of the map and boom, 15, 20 SCVs, plus the fact he's going to be able to kill a planetary. It's a little bit of bio, just didn't actually chase the Ravagers as much as I thought he could. I feel like he maybe could have got a couple more kills. There's quite a big clear from the Marines on the bottom side, a larger drop than before. He's going to have to call those back. Corruptors chasing the medevacs already, and Marines will target fire to try and at least do something there. This is nice for TY, at least he will find these Zerglings, so gets rid of all of those. Even the last one, that Concussive Shells, was its death. He got the hatchery, so, you know, TY does get some damage, and now this drop, or this attack on the top right side will come up to a hatchery as well. Then he's starting to run into this here, and Dark has to make a decision, but TY's already decided he's just going to target fire it down. He'll lift up what he can save. 2 medevacs units get out alive, and that's what I mean. You need one drop on the bottom to pull Dark out of position, and the second drop maybe has chance of dealing damage too. Obviously, in this case, this hatchery goes down because Dark kind of preoccupied himself making the play on the command center. But then, at least for Dark, it's a trade. This base wasn't a trade. This base was a continuation of the drop in the bottom left, keeping his Corruptors, etc. busy. And we see an anabolic synthesis, so those ultras off creep will have that little bit of extra speed. Don't think he actually built an ultra just yet. He hasn't, so those aren't out here for now, as we do see just a few ghosts actually. He has 4 of them, but he isn't really building too many more. So he only has a couple of snipes available. Because it's probably a lot of Ling Bane still, he's afraid to build too many ghosts, because one of the counters to Ling Bane is to actually build more ghosts again, right? It's to build more bio. So one of the counters to ghosts is just to build more Ling Bane, is the way around I should say this. So actually, TY, when you say there's a lot of Ling Bane and not a lot of tech units, you don't want to go too ghost heavy, because then, you know, you don't actually have a way to shut down that Ling Bane and your ghosts just get blown up. You don't really have a good time at all. As moving around this right side, Dark did not re-establish this right-hand side base. As TY will poke forward with the Vikings, looking for some opportunities. A couple of Marauders are picking away at Bangs. And like this, just leading force the rest of the army up on that high ground. Trying to bait units in. The Vikings are kiting Corruptors back towards the army as well. And the Marauders coming forward. The Broodlords are going to try and get some shots off. And as the Corruptors coming in again to get a couple of Vikings. And the Thors here in the front line. Well, interesting here. The Vikings are probably going to go down. The Bio's splitting backwards. All of these Thors in a lot of trouble, but the Bane's going off creep is not exactly brilliant either. TY loses a lot here. Dark does as well, but he's got the bank to instantly rebuild 52 Zerglings, so it's not as much of a problem. This army gathers up on the right side as the command center, building up. Going to be completing in a moment or two. Zergling blocking this location. So Dark has started to get those Zerglings out and burrowed into bases. TY's manning this bottom left-hand side though, right? So as long as TY has a base somewhere, and that's the thing, right? The fight's happening on the top right, so TY's been able to get a base at the bottom left. Sometimes it works the other way around, where typically you want to kind of be fighting the way your newest command center is, as there's a lot of Baneless connecting. Because then you can be in position to obviously defend it as well. But then the problem is when Zerg goes elsewhere. Actually going to see, because of this attack in the bottom left, it's a trade-off, right? Dark attacks the bottom left to shut that down, but it allows TY to shut down this base. However, Dark might just have the economy advantage already, and if you already have the eco advantage, this can work better for Dark, because obviously then TY might struggle to actually get enough units out to stay in the game. I mean, he just lost 34 SCVs in total. So TY is actually down at 38 workers, down by 30. Not really much of a bank to work with at all. I mean, he's killing these right side hatcheries, but look at the left side. Dark's already got a hatch up over here. He's already building the bottom left-hand corner of the map. He just seems that step ahead of TY. TY can't even land here at the moment because there's a Zergling block in the way. SCVs will go for the surround on that. These other armies are still looking to see what they can do. A couple of tanks getting picked away at. Ling did go down in the command center. He'll be able to take position, but Ling's also counter-attacking on the left, and it feels like Dark is really starting to find his stride in the game. And is really starting to get a good amount of damage done. These SCVs going to transfer back from the top side over to the left a little bit. And again, those medevacs flying around, bio units, ghosts, setting up. Needs to repair this orbital a little bit, but you can just see TY's kind of map presence is just dwindling. You've lost, you know, this top side is only just coming back. You've lost these two bases here. You've kind of just, I mean, you've still got a bit of army here, but, you know, there's still creep here. It feels like Dog doesn't even care about that right-hand side, because guess what? I've got the bottom left to work with. And he's got these classic ultras, by the way. They look kind of funky, right? You see those angles pressing forwards. A couple SCVs going down. Things going to go streaming in towards the natural expansion here, and, well, the factory's going to be in some trouble, as you have in the bottom left-hand side. Bio units going after a bunch of Zerglings, so quite a lot of things going down. Banes are going to be able to press their way into this as these Marines get blown up. A little bit more bio here from TY, picking up a few more Zerglings, and again, just going to be able to pick away at these Lings in the corner too. Here we go, Ling Ultra pressing up to the top right. Going to run straight on into this right now, so TY, like you've been saying, has kind of been falling apart for the last couple of minutes, just didn't quite have enough to keep this up. And he's made Dark really work for it in this game number 3. Dark will retake the lead in this series, goes up 2-1. This series now qualifies for the WESG APAC Regional Finals, which then leads into the Global Finals. And again, obviously the Koreans are massive favorites at the APAC Regional Finals as well. So yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, if you're enjoying the casting, you want to follow for more, hit that follow button. Absolutely helps us out, and we cast StarCraft a lot over here, so consider following. Top left-hand side, the red Zerg is Dark. And Dark is going to be taking on the blue Terran in the lower right, TY. So game 4 of the series in TY, well, you know, you lose the game, you proxy racks. You win the game, you go back to normal play. You lose the game, you proxy racks. Does the pattern continue? Does he win this game? 2 racks. Down this left-hand side, Gas Pool for the 3rd game in a row from Dark. But remember, it was Gas Pool opening that actually led him into game number 2, which the proxy racks happened on. Looks like Dark might leave this Overlord at the natural, so the idea is, the problem on Zen was that Dark didn't know the proxy racks was there at all, and he didn't even see the bunkers building. It was too far gone by the time he was able to figure it out, by the time he was able to start a defense. So in this game, he will leave the Overlord at the front, and that's an adjustment to know that, at the very least, he'll know when the bunker's coming up, and then he can respond to that. Obviously, if you can deny the bunkers, it becomes a much more difficult job. As an orbital command is morphing in on the main base, and we do just see the Overlord continuing out over to the right-hand side. First SCV popping forwards, and you can see Dark's already pulling the Overlord to the side, knowing high ground may be necessary here. First bunker starts, but again, you know about it, and Lings are already coming down to this low ground, so they're coming down and getting ready to try and fight. First bunker about halfway done. Dark still does invest into the spine, but here come the drones as well. We'll start a second bunker just to give a little bit more surface, or a lack of surface area there. He's going to lose the first SCV, he's going to lose the second SCV. Cost Dark about 4 drones. There's no other SCVs. I mean, he's going to start sending one out, but, well, I know this bunker is almost finished. But it's still going to take a little while to get another SCV over here. Now you've got a Queen coming forwards. Spinecrawler can relocate to the low ground. Well, you can already see TY's kind of giving up on it, right? He's sending Marines back home. He's lifting up his racks. TY is up 5 workers, so it's not the end of the world. You know, you'll start a CC from here. It is 2 racks instead of 3 racks, so it's always got that transition potential compared to 3 racks, which is much more all-in because you don't have the gases in the factory as quickly. So we do see the factory on the way up here now. And there's the command center as well, as I stumble over my own words. So yeah, I mean, TY should be alright. Now, it's obviously not ideal, but he did pick up a few drones at least, so it wasn't like a complete shutdown. He picked off a few drones, he forced a lot of lings, and he forced a spine crawler. So, yeah, definitely not ideal, but there's potential to kind of go further in the game, right? And you do see the factory building up the reactor. These lings are about to have ling speed, but they'll not do too much at all. And, you know, for now, they just have to kind of back away and get out of there. So these lings are going to go and hang out the front of the natural instead. As this racks of TY going to come in, that's going to land, and you can see a couple of the Hellions from TY starting to build on up. It's just, he was supply blocked for a moment, so actually wasn't able to continue that Hellion production 2 at a time, it was just 1 at a time. But yeah, I mean, you look at this all together, Dark's like 3 workers ahead. One of the things that's obviously delayed in this game is the 3rd hatchery as well. And, you know, 2 workers ahead, TY's about to have his natural CC up and running. It's not that bad of a scenario when it comes to the economy. We're going to see the fusion core dropping down, so maybe TY saying it's time to get back in toward the mech play. See how many battlecruisers he wants to build, of course, that's the telltale sign. But we will at the very least be seeing battlecruisers as part of our opening. So, 2 Hellions coming over, and a couple of queens at the front in the 3rd hatchery. We'll take a few shots of damage. Fusion core, as I mentioned, that's going to be done soon. You can already see Dark's going to opt for the lair, but he doesn't really have anything to be aggressive on the lair with, right? Unless he goes like Ling Queen Nidus all in. He's only on 1 gas, so yeah, there's the 2nd gas. So it's not going to be Ling Queen Nidus. And there's the Rotor, and I just don't think it's any kind of Nidus, right? Because I just feel like he's in a position where he doesn't need to really. What do you get by Nidusing? If the Nidus gets found, if you get denied, there's a battlecruiser out defensively. You probably just kind of put yourself into a really tough spot. And there's 8 more drones, and as more drones come up, obviously, the idea of anything aggressive here continues to fade away. So that lair about to complete, as we do see the Hellions are down the bottom side, joined by a few Marines making an attack out of this. In fairness, there's no units up yet from Dark. He's been waiting to make roaches. 4 of them start now. This is a Marine Hellion attack where actually drones have just transferred over to this base. Let's see, with the Hellions, you can fight these Zerglings a bit more easily, and the Marines put some extra damage out onto the Queens. This didn't work out so brilliantly in the end, but he will find himself a couple of drones. Obviously, we saw those drones transfer, and TY didn't, so if you went straight away to the left-hand side with the Hellions, you would have got quite a bit done. He'll teleport in with the BC, and Spore isn't ready. I guess his plan there was to obviously deal some damage to the Queens so that the Battlecruiser would have a better time now. And actually, no Spore at all in this main base, so TY going to have a bit of a field day in Dark. Sorry, there is a Spore Crawler. It's really hidden behind the left. Apologies. There is a Spore Crawler, but it can cover the first kind of entry kind of point. However, this BC taking some damage and this creep all across the main, so the Queens have speed to step forwards. They won't get the kill on the BC, but it will put some very good damage out. But more Hellions arriving, and that 3rd base has some roaches on it, but they were a little bit late to action. And that's going to be 14 workers killed in total. So TY, some good early game damage here. As the 2 extra factories come up, we are going to see more battlecruisers. There's our Yamato cannon. And we are going to be seeing our mech play for Simulacrum game number 4. Lings all the way around this right-hand side and coming out into the center. A couple of Marines and all Hellions coming in too. And that's going to be already a nice little burning down of a Zergling in the back. Spire will start from Dark as he picks off a couple more Marines. Dark should already kind of know what style this is, I think, from just the fact he's seen so many Hellions here. You know, you don't build this many Hellions if you go on Bio because it delays your barracks too much, so he's just getting set for the, you know, Corruptors from the Spire. He's already just building up into more Roaches. And that's going to be kind of a little bit different to how he played out on Zen, because on Zen he was behind and he had to make a decision. He decided to delay his Corruptor production. You know, he set up for the Spire, but he didn't build the Corruptor. This game, he'll build the Corruptors right away. He doesn't have to rush out the Swarm Hosts, because he's not in a position where he's behind and has to make something happen, otherwise he just dies. Zerglings down at the right as TY will come forwards and little bit deeper out in the front here. Again, getting a bit of a heads up on run buys coming in. As those lings, well, they'll be able to get that cancel, and a couple of them into the mineral line already here as well. TY will split the Hellions to defend, but you know, 3 SCVs lost, only a couple of lings. It's kind of nice, right? Now the Roach is moving over. This is a third base that's just been taken. There is not tanks or kind of any sort of more stable defense ready just yet from TY. Maybe one of the issues he has just needs to get those first couple of tanks up, and this is going to become much more difficult for Doc to justify throwing Roaches into wood bases. And those tanks are out now, and you know, for now the BCs kind of did the job. Roach is still finding an opening, get themselves an SCV. Just little bits and pieces of damage as we're going to see an attempt to Hellion run by, and the Hellions will slip by, and they'll get a shot or two off on the natural. But I imagine you might want to just go up into the main. Yeah, he'll go into the main. It's a little bit scary going into the main in this scenario, simply because there might be a bunch of units up there, so it's worth committing to some units on the natural. But obviously you're not going to have the Queens in the main bases. You know, that means it gives you a little bit more time. Those drones were stacked, and maybe we'll see quite a few more drones still going down. 10 workers killed is still not bad at all. And the Queen's out of position for the battle cruisers, which make their way into this lower left. They're going to Yamato the hatchery. Oh my god, they might just go for this here. Queens have the transfusions though, right? And enough of them. Actually, the Queens don't have that much more energy. You're going to teleport the first BC back. I think he's out of energy. The third base gets sniped by TY. Wow. Yeah, you could just see the Queens come in and they're all pretty low energy. So, wow. That is actually crazy. Third base goes down. The 3 battle cruisers just show up and boom. These drones should start mining off the 4th base that just finished, of course. But that's low ground and a bit more vulnerable. And obviously that means the Hellion run buys have a bit more chance of getting in there and maybe picking off a whole bunch of drones. Just going to be seeing our Hellions continue to move around. Picking up some damage on towards the hatchery. And our command center up the right-hand side getting ready to drop down as well. The 5th base from TY. Building in the front. The Hellions of TY coming around the right side. A good amount of Roaches around the top. So they're looking to push that 4th base over here. A few more SCVs, a couple more Hellions, battle cruiser, all on the way at the moment. There's a couple of Roaches coming around and a couple of Cyclones on the way up from TY as well. So Hellions going to chase this Roach down. It's going to drop here in the next couple moments. So Roach will be cleaned out. Not really anything too surprising, as we do have +1 ship weapons, +1 vehicle playing. The battle cruiser is about halfway done, and yeah, 2 more factories building up over in the main base. TY, big supply lead. I mean, when you deny a 3rd base like that, it's not really a surprise. We lose the battle cruiser here, but there's drones going down on 3rd base. And Dark is just falling further and further behind. I don't want to cast a curse it, but it looks like we might be getting ourselves a 5-game series here. Maybe, just maybe. Hellions down the bottom, as we do have the Halbats still producing the infestation pit on the 3rd base as well. Battle cruiser starting, a few more factories coming into play, and 4th and 5th barracks. Command center, sorry, looking good soon too. He's even building the extra CC over here. It's TY, he likes to expand. You know, when you get to this late game, one of the best things you can do is shut down a whole bunch, you know, just throw down a whole bunch of command centers. Because then, you know, if you lose a base, boom, fly another one out there. At the very least, you morph them into orbitals, you get extra scans, which is never a bad thing in TvZ. Well, a few moments of calm before this is going to kick off again, really, because soon enough there will be swarm hosts popping out. So 14 swarm hosts on the way, make that 16, +1 missile attack coming down, +2 flyer attack on the way in as well. You can see that the Cyclone's kind of getting a few lock-ons and chasing away. The Corruptors coming around the top. The swarm hosts obviously going to be, you know, the question mark for TY. I'd say he dealt with them pretty well on Zen. He can deal with them in a similar way here. He's going to be keeping himself in a good spot. Those are some good Cyclone lock-ons, just free, you know, 3 Roaches basically. Thank you very much, I'll take that any day of the week. look who's back. It's the battle cruisers. We've seen them over here before. It's actually going to Yamato down the Queens. Then he's just going to teleport away again. You know, maintaining those battle cruisers is so important. As Dark playing this one without a Nidus, by the way, it is a bit of a smaller map. It's a bit more easy to maneuver around, so he maybe just feels he doesn't need the Nidus to get the Soul Host in the position he wants to get them in. And so here we go. I mean, they're the push forwards. These tanks are pretty late to siege. So Corrosive Fire's going to come down quite late on in the fight, actually, as Cyclone lock-ons to the Corruptors. Well, pretty scary too. Those Corruptors coming out real bruised up. Orange red health across the board. He actually finds a Swarm Host here, a couple more lock-ons, and we'll find a couple of Swarm Host kills. So Swarm Host going down. TY still pressing through the middle of the map. This Corrosive Fire's going to finish dropping and still just pressing into this. Another Queen getting picked off too. More of these group tumors continue to go down. These roaches getting picked off as well. Just going to be seeing this as a full-on push from TY. Next wave of Locust already kind of dropped down though, so at some point of this you have to be very careful as TY and really just back away. TY really just went for that there. He like went for the jugular. Lost all of his battle cruisers bar one, which I think just was newly built. Wow. I mean, he chased in, he killed a lot. He kind of resets the unit count from Dark back to kind of almost just purely roaches. Only 11 Swarm Hosts left, 12 Corruptors. He's now building 3 BCs at a time, and maybe that's why he feels he's already in the position where you can just build up so many battle cruisers that he's getting into a very good position anyways. You see these Cyclones able to lock on and taking away the Swarm Host. Roach is still pushing down the bottom side. And the Cyclone's going to get another lock on here, and the Roaches taking a bit more damage. Wouldn't mind blowing up a few Locusts and reducing the Cyclones again all the way down to this bottom of the map. As our Locust pushing forwards here, a couple more supply depots will die off. We do just see this orbital command coming back around on the right. Dark's Lurker Den is about to complete. So finishing that up in the next couple moments. A few battle cruisers still coming into play. So far, so good as another scan drops, and Cyclones will get another lock on to pick off even more of these roaches, so again, some decent damage being done. Down on the bottom side, we're going to see all of these Locusts pressing forwards as well. Goes straight in towards this Planetary Forest, so Planetary is immediately in some trouble. But obviously SCPs can repair and keep it alive, and as we're both maxed out, well, I would say the biggest issue maybe here for Dark is the fact that he really feels, I mean, he's getting the Lurkers up, so that's his next switch up, right? But it still feels like he's somewhat kind of just stuck on Roach Corruptor. Now, I'm intrigued to see what these Lurkers can get done, especially because it feels like right now TY is playing more of a battlecruiser-based game than anything else. I know there's still some Cyclones around, etc., but I don't feel like the problem for Dark is dealing with the Cyclones. I feel like the problem for Dark is going to be dealing with those battlecruisers. Obviously, Hydras, yes, they shoot up, but Hydras just don't really do much against upgraded BCs, and you can see +3 vehicle plating on the way. That's going to be what makes those BCs almost untouchable. Resource loss is pretty even, actually. All said and done. TY actually on 95 SCVs. He's really looking to keep trading because he's mining a lot. When you're mining a lot like this, you want to trade, so you can keep spending that money. You're working with a smaller army, so you never really want to kind of let this get into maxed out fights too much because your army's that little bit smaller, so in straight up fights, you obviously have a little bit less to work with. This is a snipe on a base. As on the bottom side, the Swarm Hosts trying to make something happen. BCs teleport in, and that's, sorry, not the Swarm Hosts, they're the Lurkers. Getting confused by the skins there. Just for a moment. The Lurkers try and move their way into this base, and the BCs teleport down as defense. They move away, but they're going to have to come back. These Lurkers pressing forwards once again. BCs do turn back pretty quickly. The SCVs obviously will have to run. They're actually in range of the missile turret there, but yeah, these Lurkers are going to go down, and I don't think 5 SCVs and some distraction on the battlecruisers is really worth what was about 6 Lurkers that he built up. So now he really is just back to the same composition he's been playing before with a few Hydras mixed in. And I really, really struggle to understand what Dark's plan will be against these battlecruisers. Auto will fire, Swarm Host gets picked up, and the other Swarm Host getting pushed away as well to the high ground. BC's finding their way to the bottom left, and they're going to be able to pick away at this hatchery, so hatchery will drop. Now Now we have this kind of army, this Roach Hydra, Ravager, Lurker force. It's kind of small and not really too much of it, but yeah, kind of get some position and get some damage done. Lurker's even getting buried up there as there go our Yamato cannons. And TY just looking for the teleports out at some point. Probably should have teleported that one. He was microing it backwards. And true, right now the issue is TY thinks he's got enough Valkyries just to straight up fight the Corruptors, which he does. But he could be a lot better on the teleports, right? He's just teleporting them a little bit too late every time. Now he's going to teleport them in to help push this army back. Being hit by an anti-armor missile, so it's a little bit weaker anyways. While Dark, his supply is just down in the gut compared to TY's. TY's finally worked his way through that bank of Dark while denying the bases. It's kind of funny, Dark's on 84 works, he just struggles to rebuild here. An anti-armor missile on the Corruptors is obviously massive, because the VCs, they benefit so much from anti-armor because, well, their attacks fire so quickly, it really adds up as TY takes game. Supporting the stream. Greatly appreciate it. Helps us out a whole bunch. If you guys are sitting out there enjoying the content today, do consider supporting. You can subscribe to the channel. You get replays. These replays will be going out to subscribers. So if you want to get your hands on these replays and yesterday's replays, including the Maru games, the Maru games are already on our Discord server. So if you want to get yourself those, get subscribed. If you're a Twitch Prime sub, a regular sub, any sub will do. That's one of the big benefits. And it supports the stream and lets me run more StarCraft content. Game number 5, this is it. One of these players is about to qualify for WESG APAC Finals. It's Dark in the bottom right-hand side, playing the blue Zerg. Taking on the red Terran in the upper left. We have got ourselves TY. So Dark TY, game number 5. SCV will come in to get this command center started from TY here in a moment or two. SCV of TY making its way down to the bottom side. So that's on its way down to the bottom and looking to see what's going on. We do see the factory from TY is on its way up as well. The Reaper moving out into the center as well. So Reaper's on its way down as we do see the Rotron currently building up as well. So getting that ready to go. About halfway done at the moment. Getting that ready to roll. And the SCV moving up to the top. So yeah, TY just scouts, knows it's a pull first again. We'll keep the Reaper kind of safe. But it's a pull first with aggression. The Rotron is very early. And finally, Dark, of all of these pull firsts, has just been kind of passive. You know, he didn't really do much. And this is like, maybe this is the mind game he's been building up to. 4 games in a row, he goes gas pull. And finally, on the 4th game that he does it, the 5th game in the series, he actually commits to a Rotron and goes to all in. So TY currently doesn't look really prepared for this. You know, you're looking across the map and TY is kind of like, well, you know, I'm building a starport, I'm getting a tech lab on the barracks, which maybe a Marauder or so can help me out with, but he just doesn't have any info. In this Reaper, that's going to be the first time he sees this, and he's going to see just a glimpse of those roaches. Now he turns, and now you'll see the Ravagers. So now he knows. Now TY knows this Reaper has just given up on. It's going to go down. Well, his builds actually swaps it over, so he goes Cyclone Marine as his defense. He could have maybe gone Banshee. No, swap the starport to the tech lab. That was ready to move. It just takes a while to come out, right? The Marine Cyclone might be the fastest way to get this defense going. There's a bunker on the high ground. Dark will already begin to drone up behind this, so he's already beginning to expand his work account. There's Marines. Oh my god, one of them gets into the bunker here. A couple more corrosive vials. And, well, obviously, at the very least, you're going to kill a lot of SCVs here. The fact there's only one Marine in the bunker, though, is obviously problematic too, because, well, this Roach Ravager force just isn't taking as much damage as you kind of wanted to. The Cyclone takes a beating as well as it first comes down there, and it's already half health, and not really next to any SCVs to be repaired, but all of these units together, maybe they can do something here. SCVs do surround and kill off a Morphing Ravager. These 3 Ravagers together trying to do something. The Viking definitely having a big role of kind of defending this here, actually. Putting out some very important damages. Corrosive Bile to zone. The problem is TY is now down to 18, 17 workers, and, you know, Dark's doubling the work account. And that's only going to get kind of worse from here. We see another Marine maybe going to go down. Problem is this Viking on its own can't really fight. The Cyclone will guarantee a kill. You just see the Viking was probably going to go down if it really took a fight properly. As SCVs have to dodge away. And this attack from Dark is shut down. but it's been extremely successful. 20 workers killed. Not 20 workers killed, 9 workers killed, 20 workers down. Half the work count here from TY. He is going to struggle to get back into this. Now, some of the things that Dark needs to work on after this opening, he doesn't have the third hatchery, so that's going to be step number 1, get that third hatchery up and running. As this Viking coming into the middle is going to go for this Overlord. So, I mean, little things that TY can get here, right? Anything is going to help him out. But he is absolutely playing from behind, and Dark's even saying, well, you know, I'm actually done so much damage here, it took him so long to clean me up. I'm just going to make a few roaches already, just prepared for a counter, because I know I'm in a good position. The one thing I can really lose to right now is being too greedy on the drones, trying to get too far ahead, and not respecting the fact he can still make some units here. So the 2 medevac coming down at the bottom, the couple of cyclones inside. What can they achieve? They need to work some magic. I kind of feel like you might... I mean, what do? Hatchery? Probably drones, right? Get a couple of drone kills. Probably the best you can do here, realistically. Get, what, 2, 3 drones? Lift up and get out. Any little bit of damage is going to add up in your favor as TY right now. You need anything you can get to try and keep getting into this. Get back into this. Still 16 workers down, though. Lair's about to finish from Dark, so he's got a lot of gas as well. Dark options here. Spire might be good. Going to Spire, it's a very tough defense against Mutalisk when you're already behind, before you even get the Mutas on the map. It's really tough to hold off Mutas when you're behind already. So that could be a good way to go about this, as the Lings will run in, the Cyclones will lift, and you can see Siege Tank and Simpack on the way out from TY. So he's going to play Bio here in game at number 5. It's been a very good series. You know, obviously we've had a lot of very cool later game scenarios, but they've also built up over some very different builds in the early games. You know, game 1 TY with that aggressive 2-base all in, and then game number 2, you know, proxy racks, and then again, I love this kind of mind game from Dog. You do the gas pool every single game apart from game number 1. And finally, in game number 5 of the series, you actually do something with it beyond just sort of saying, you know, I'm just opening gas pool. He didn't even show any slight aggression of gas pool earlier, so for TY, he's probably like fallen into that routine of like, oh yeah, it's okay, he's done this before. And that led to a lot of damage in this game, as now, Marine Tank Cyclone looking to try and attack. He actually cancels, I believe, there's gas on there. I think it was a Spire. I didn't actually see what the tech choice was. I apologize. But whatever it was, TY is going to back away. So Dark just decides to cancel. He's going to build the Spire now in the back of the third base. So he will go Spire here in the end. He's going to commit into the Roaches a bit more first. +1/+1 missiles. The Roach speed was already on the way for quite a while. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because on the ground, he is going to be Roach-based, no matter what, pretty much. So this Roach Ravage army setting up on the left, and you see the 4th hatchery down on the bottom set up as well. So 4 bases from Dark. I mean, TY has the 3rd CC, so he's moving that over into location. So taking that over there, as we do see the, well, 1/1 upgrades from TY getting started as well. I mean, TY is kind of getting back on track. It's just he's very far behind compared to where Dark is at already. And that's going to be the issue here. I still think these Mutalisks were going to cause a bit of a problem. So Dark in one of the earlier games was just so good with the Mutas. It was game number 1 as well, wasn't it? Where he got the few Mutas up and TY was trying to attack and he just lost so much to them. Obviously, he was very committed to a 2-base attack that game. This game, he might put a bit more attention towards defending. As we do have the Marines coming in, a drone or 2 going down already, so a little bit of damage being picked up as he's just going to try and get the Spore Crawler killed. He will work his way through that. So actually, I can confirm that building that he cancelled over here was the Spire. So he actually cancelled the Spire earlier when TY was pushing, and then he rebuilds it, and now the 10 Mutas are about to come out into play, so I was just watching the stream to see what it was. The Spire was about halfway done when he cancelled it, so I wonder if that was just really like an, oh my god, I need to defend right now? Because then obviously he does rebuild it, so imagine that. The Mutas could have been out here for like a minute and a half, or like, that's a crazy difference to decide to cancel that Spire. So that push of TY was really effective. As the Mutalisks of Dark are moving back around in the middle. tank Cyclones defensively here. So he just moves to a 4th base. I think he knows, like, the position he is in, he kind of just has to play the kind of macro. You know, he's not going to get a timing attack that's going to kill Dark, because Dark just has too much. So he's just trying to expand somewhat quickly and, you know, just get his production going. If you can get maxed out, maybe you can start taking some maxed out fights and take those into your favor. Honestly, these mutas don't do so hot here from Dark. Yes, they killed 13 SCVs, but 13 SCVs cost them 5 mutas, so now the issue is, right, it's not just 5 mutas, it's also the effectiveness and the scariness of that muta pack. You know, now you only have 5 mutas remaining, it's nowhere near as dangerous as it was when there was 10 mutalists originally. So, yeah, TY loses 13 workers, killed off a decent number of mutas. I guess the problem is it just doesn't matter anyways, right, because Dark is kind of just maxed out. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's nice, but for TY, I suppose it's just too much more damage. You can't really do too much more about this as these Marines just hanging out over the side. You can see the Ling Roach Ravager from Dark up the left-hand side, and, well, it's for him just finding a good fight here that makes a lot of sense for him to commit to. And honestly, I feel like there's a lot of fights he can commit to here, which is going to be good for him. But at the same time, you know, he's got more upgrades coming into play. I mean, look at that line of upgrades coming through. You know, he's got himself the Hive on the way up, so he's also not overly eager to take a fight. He's got great map control. The creep spread is lurking all over the place. And TY will be probably in quite a bit of trouble here as these mutalisks continue to escape out through the top side. The Marines, they're going to be running in to chase those mutas away. And here we go. Ling Roach Ravager Bane pressing forwards as reducing Marines. Already being picked away at, so Dark pressing up in towards the high ground here, and just a few more Banelings rolling towards the Marines. Well, they're trying to defend this. The Banes actually missed the SCVs there on the base that they forced to lift up on the 3rd. Slight shame, as that's maybe too much of a choke point for Dark to push into with those Roaches. And Banes will actually still connect in the end, and mutas are just taking the opportunity to pick their way through siege tanks. So the mutalisks at the same time, the multitasking there from Dark is good to find some extra damage. I mean, again, it's just so difficult for TY. How are you going to deal with just units all over the place? You kind of can't. You just don't have the unit number that you need to make that defense happen at all. 22 more Banelings, 26 more Lings, 2 more Ravagers, all of this producing at the moment. As we see Adrenal Glands plus 2 melee and plus 3 count base on the way out as well. Here we go, Marines pressing forwards, couple of creep tuners going down. Ling Roach Ravager Bane pressing into this. So you see a couple of corrosive bars firing up into the skies. 2 tanks picked off right away. Overseer and Mutalisks over in this base. Ghost Academy is about to finish up, so Ghost Academy will be finished as well. 2 more barracks about to finish too. Great Aspire from Dark dropping into the back of the 3rd base. And this command center lifting up, gonna go up to the 5th. Gonna get that down in a moment or two. It's tough though, right? I mean, because Dark's just maxed out again, and he's just gonna throw another army at TY. Unlike the other games where TY was slowing down bases, he was shutting those down. This game, none of that is happening. You know, Dark has just allowed every single base on his half of the map. He might even start venturing up over here to take a base as well soon. Why the heck not? So Dark's income is absolutely ridiculous, and TY, again, all you can really do is try and stand here and hold on and hope that maybe Dark messes up one too many fights. Obviously, Dark's also building up into Ultras, Broodlords, all of that is setting up to go. Yes, here we go with the Banes going 2 different directions. A lot of siege tanks already starting to be cleaned out, and all Dark really wanted to do is pick off that planetary fortress. He gets that, and once that's down, it's so much more money denied here from TY. A little drop on the bottom left. TY knows he has to try and make something happen, so he's scrambling to pick off this hatchery and make that the start of a bit of a, perhaps a comeback here. Mutalisk flying on in. The first Marines come in and a Mutalisk gets taken down. As we have 52 more Zerglings, 2 more Ultras currently building up now. Marines unloading again. We're just going to be seeing the Overlord. And pushed away. TY, you know, getting the 3-3 upgrades, it's the Ultras, etc. that are going to be the next problem, right? Because TY's holding on against a mid-tier army. But defensively, sitting back defensively, just letting Dark throw units at him. That's going to be much harder to do when the tier 3 units come out, the Ultralisks, and obviously the Broodlords are now a possibility as well. Because you need a better answer to that than just Biotank. And right now, that better answer doesn't exist on the map, and TY is not rich enough to afford a better answer. So 3-3 upgrades still coming into play. Kindness plating will complete from Dark in a moment or two. Infestation Pit is done in the main base as well. This medevac with a few Marines inside is, was able to pick off this hatchery, but it's a hatchery Dark doesn't care too much about yet. He doesn't need to mine from it for the moment. Is this going to be a huge amount of Ling Bane up here? No sensor tower, no idea it's coming. TY is completely blind until, well, close the SCVs and try and repair, but there's so many Banelings. That is a dead planetary fortress. Dark just slowly picking his way around this map. Now he starts to build the Corruptors. That's going to be the movement towards the Broodlords. As TY will hold and hold and hold as long as possible. Income advantage from Dark is massive. TY for like, 2 seconds of the last 10 minutes had an income lead. And that is it. And it's a massive income difference too. You see that army supply of Dark's always been that bit larger. This was a bad fight for him here. Whereas a fight that obviously, again, you can kind of somewhat afford. TY is doing the right thing to kind of try and stay alive. I just do worry. Can he deal with, the next stage of this, which is Ultras and Broodlords? So far, the Ultras haven't found a way to fight in, as on the drop over here, intercepted. Not much can be done at all. Dark trying to run some Zerglings around the top right side of the map at the same time. He is taking that top right hatchery. I mean, again, why the heck not? You've kind of got the minerals for it. If you can even mine some minerals off of it, it's minerals that TY will never get to use in the game. And Shockwave's on the way up from TY. As he's maxed out again. So he's maxed out. Well, as the Broodlords come up, let's see if they make the the difference. Because if he survives the first round of Broodlords, I'll be more of a believer, right? This base gets cancelled. If he survives the first round of Broodlords, I'm more of a believer, but still don't quite see that happening. These few Marines getting shut down. I mean, TY is still kind of broke, right? There's still no 5th base properly up and mining. He doesn't have CCs just all over the place to fly out into positions and to make work. How's that Broodlords? Just going to be dropping on down. Depot missile turret picked off here. The tanks out to the left. There's quite a few tanks. And as they're going to start sieging up. A couple of Vikings from TY. They're going to finish in a moment or two as well. And this corrupted Broodlord force sets up to keep on pressing forwards. There's a little bit of Marine Marauder coming down a little bit. There go the Broodlings. Dropping down, and some snipes coming into play. We're actually going to be seeing a couple of those ghosts picked off. Siege Tank gets taken down as well. And again, this army of TY just hanging around up on the top. Tanks firing, doing a decent job. There goes this medevac into the natural expansion. So a couple of siege tanks here. They're going to be unloading. Again, Ghost Vikings setting up. We're going to see another starport dropping down as well. We do just see Ling Bane Ultra Force moving back out into the center. We still haven't actually seen the Broodlords really do much, right? Just sort of appearing on the left side, backing away. Now TY is getting Vikings. He's back to 5 bases. The map is still owned by Dark. He may as well write his name on it, but I mean, I guess he could do so in Creep Tumors, but he really controls everything on the map. I see the Broods pressing in now, so this is what I've been worried about for TY for some time. A couple of Ultras leading the charge. It's such a good spread out defense. Tanks all over the place, the Ghosts finding some snipes. The Broods actually take some damage. We're down to 5 from 7, and 3 of them are pretty low HP. Tark has 7,000 minerals, but important to note he only has 1,300 gas, so he's not able to kind of like rebuild an amazing army right away. TY is going to find his way to start nuking this base in the bottom left. Bane, Ravager, Ultra, Brood. The CC has to lift up. TY will evacuate equal land, but Dark already pulled away. No real damage taken. TY building 3 nukes at a time as Lings and Banes are going to start running into this. The Corruptors chasing forwards too. The Broodlords about to arrive. The Ghosts are going to look for some snipes, and they're going to try and line it up on the Broodlords, and they'll find one. One Broodlord dies, but looks as though it's not going to be enough. The rest of the Ghosts taking damage, so their snipes are cancelled. TY loses 22 SCVs in this. He's down a lot of his army as well. He'll pick off another Broodlord here that can't escape away, but Dark still kept some Corruptors alive. He actually decides to just go for 64 Lings and 9 Ultras. That's Dark's gas bank gone though, so if TY can hold on against this, then he basically only has to fight pure bait Zergling. if you can get rid of this round of Ultras, TY has some hope. Some very, very slight hope, but some hope. I mean, obviously, Dark can mine gas elsewhere. I think it's just lazy of him not to have set up extractors over here, for example, over here. He has drones on these bases, and gas is absolutely his problem. He could be mining more of it than he is. It's a mistake from Dark. It's maybe just a little bit of overconfidence that he doesn't need to set it up. Let's see if he's right in thinking that, because here we go. Our first snipe's coming down. The first couple Ultras drop fast. It's the rest of the Ultras that will go down much slower here. The Vikings are going to stand and fight the Corruptors. That is a fight the Corruptors will win, unfortunately, for TY, as the Ultras are still going into the top side. A couple left behind to pick off bases. There's just not enough, and TY knows it. The Ultras will finish the game, and Dark will qualify for WESG 2019-2020. What a performance from Dark. Absolutely fantastic. An amazing series. An hour and 40 minutes to wrap this up. And I have to say, I think it was worth every single second of it.